Can you guys hear me okay?
I hear you, Levine.
Good evening. How's everyone doing?
Baruch Hashem.
All right. Rabbi Feller will be on here shortly.
Thank you, Levine.
Yes, you're welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening, Rabbi Feller.
Good evening. Is Jonathan going to be on?
Jonathan sends his greetings and regrets. He
Is
has
what?
a family function. His family's gathering at his home tonight.
So he won't be on?
No, he won't.
Okay. I see. I think we have Moshe Lipschitz on.
You and I and Moshe Lifshitz so far. And Joel Blackford has just joined.
Okay.
I'm here.
Welcome.
Shalom. May I state something in the meantime?
Yes, by all means.
So we talked about Purimfest 1946 and how Hitler had his 10 sons hung during basically during Sukkot of 1946, but specifically on Hoshana Rabbah. and now we have this Purim coming up that we just celebrated, and as of right now, 11 of Hamas have been taken out, and so it's kind of sounding like Purim Fest 2025.
What do you mean? I mean, I think about 20, 45,000 of them have been taken out.
No, I'm talking the
Uh-huh.
leaders of Hamas.
Yeah. But who is it that said put him in 1945 as he was going to be hung? Goring?
It's Purim Fest 1946. That was the worst of the worst. That was Julius Streicher that said that.
Stryker said it. He was
Streicher
hung.
he was hung. Yeah, he was hung. I think he was the seventh one hung. It's just interesting. It's a good time to Zechariah 8:23 grab onto the tzitzits of a Jew and say God is with you. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you're saying very well. I'm going to write an article on that. I was, do you know the story, Dr.
Yes, you
Sheriff?
told it many years ago of the
Yeah.
man from Stillwater, the Catholic fellow that
Hey, you
he
got a good memory.
he didn't really tell you exactly why he wanted to be there with you.
Right. I couldn't, and we were left. I went there. The guy, the one who knew them and who was the middleman, and
Yeah,
he brought me there, and I lightened up the atmosphere. All their family was there,
sure,
and they were gloomy. It was like a death watch. And I said, "Come on, folks! We're all in God's hands. Lighten up."
yeah,
They were happy with that, and I gave them each my congressional record that has the seven mitzvahs on them,
sure,
seven mitzvahs b'nai Noah. And then I got on partially onto Mr. Anderson's. He was lucid. He was dying, and I was sorry he made it quickly to come there. We didn't, and he was lucid, completely lucid. And I gave him one of them, and I held it, my hands in his hands in my hands, and I blessed him. And I asked him, Mr. Anderson, are you good with these seven laws? If you kept them, he went through them, read them all, and said, "Yeah, I lived according to these laws,
sure,
And he said, "Well, that's very good. You're good with God." And listen, and again, I kept telling him we're all in God's hands. I
exactly.
said a prayer with all of them. I said I don't know long, and they said it word after word. I had it in the English translation.
Did you wear your zitzites out that day, or did you wear them in?
With me, it doesn't make a difference because I look pretty Jewish as is.
Yeah,
Uh, you
the
come,
hat, the hat kind of gives you away. Yes,
uh, but maybe I can't keep them. I would keep them in pocket. You don't have to show them. The big towels that you wear, you cannot at all not show them. But anyhow, then I got that letter, and the woman said, I unsolicited a woman who was also involved in getting me to come, and she knew that family, and she said, but we were left with the mystery of why did Mr. Anderson want to see a rabbi? And then she sent me the letter. Perhaps it's Zechariah 8, 23, or the
sure,
last also in
sure.
Zechariah. Um, when 10 10 men from the nations, the 70 nations of the world,
Sure,
languages of the world,
sure.
will grasp onto the he doesn't say tissues, but we
It
assume
doesn't
that's
say
in the
Zitzit.
corner.
Oh goodness, Kanaf. It says Kanaf. Yeah,
Yeah. They make Rashi makes so it comes out about 2,800 to every Jew, because 700 are holding on to one Tanakh. That's
there
how
you go. Sure.
they and it comes very dramatically because it says we take us with you because we have heard that God is with you.
Amen.
Elohim imachem.
Yes. So, Rabbi Feller, to be honest with you, when I talk to Christians about the Noahide, they claim that rabbis are going to run around and behead them if they won't keep the Noahide. And it's like that's not going to happen. I can guarantee you, Rabbi Moshe Feller.
And thou shalt not kill.
Right,
Murder.
exactly.
Murder. Nobody. Jews can only kill in defense.
Right.
You know,
I,
they can't kill. Uh, you know, they're giving up in Israel murderous terrorists for their hostages.
right.
Yeah,
But
they didn't kill them. The only one that Israel killed was Eichmann. They hung Eichmann
well,
after a long time.
yeah, you're right. Technically, the army hung the other 10 guys. Yeah, it was the U.S. Army that hung
Yeah,
the
but Israel killed the only one and a prisoner that they was Eichmann.
Eichmann. Okay. Well, he deserved it.
But he got it, and
Yeah.
he didn't have any remorse.
Yeah, I looked through. I want to say it's uh, um uh, oh, I'm blanking on the name of it, but it's 56A, I think it is, from the Midrash from and so it's different opinions from rabbis in terms of the Noachide laws, and and I don't mind reading that. I mean, but the Noachide is kind of the baseline for the Gentiles to keep, you know. And so a lot of people get angry over that. They claim that this is, when you're not aware of this, but there are some talks about Trump meeting with Netanyahu and taking sovereignty of the Temple Mount back to Israel. It's being published now.
I didn't follow what you said.
Okay, so basically, the news that I'm reading from an Israeli Jew right now is that Trump and Netanyahu are talking openly about Jordan giving back control of the Temple Mount to Israel, and they will control the Temple Mount. Jordan's scared.
Jordan will give that what?
The Temple Mount, control of the Temple Mount. Right now, the Waqf controls the Temple Mount, and it looks like Jordan wants protection, and so they're willing to give back the Temple Mount to be protected from Iran. And when Syria fell as fast as it did, it fell in 11 days. Jordan got scared, so they want protection. So we're hearing that the negotiations between Jordan and Trump and Netanyahu are occurring now
Yeah.
for the Temple Mount.
The Rebbe was the one Jewish leader in the last 2,000 years that said it's an obligation on a Jew to make a non-Jew uh, who doesn't believe in one God, it doesn't believe in God, to make him from a or a polytheist to make him into a monotheist. It's Jews' obligation to bring these Sheva mitzvahs to non-Jews. Their obligation is not just bringing mitzvahs, the Taryag, the 613, and those which can be done today to Jews. That's not enough. They have to also bring God consciousness to non-Jews, and they have to
Yes,
do it through the seven Noahide laws.
which
I
should be the
heard,
baseline. It should
uh,
be. It should be the baseline for the nations.
yeah,
That's the minimum.
I've had the honor of opening the United States Senate,
Wow.
and I always mention these seven mitzvahs from Noah.
Sure. Good for you.
I, and that's what I put into the hand of Mr. Anderson, and he grabs it. He was
Good for
very.
you.
But the bottom line was that she said that was what she assumed that's why, because the God is with you. I mean, and it says God Elohim imachem.
Right.
Uh,
In those days, 10 men from all languages and nations will take firm hold of one Jew by the kanaf of his robe and say, "Let us go with you because we have heard that God is with you."
yeah.
And he is.
Well, there's also a pasuk that says that the non-Jews will say at the end, in the end of days. I can't pinpoint. I think it's in Daniel, but the non-Jews will say, "Sheker hinchelanu avosenu." Our fathers passed us down of falsehoods. In other words, uh, what was passed on to them from their parents and what is the dominant religion in the world. It's called in the Bible that the non-Jews of today, when Mashiach comes, they will say and they will see the truth in monotheism, and they will say that our fathers passed us down falsehoods. Sheker hichilonu abosenu. And
It looks, oh, interesting. No, that's not it. Oh,
anyway, we'll go on to.
oh, interesting. Thanks, Rabbi Feller. That's Jeremiah 16. Yeah.
Sheker hichilonu abosenu. What is the pasuk there?
Uh,
You have a Tanakh in front of you.
I do. I do. It's just that, so strength, my fortress, my refuge in that day, Biyom, affliction, Zara, to you, the Gentiles, so it's Goyim, shall come from the ends, yeah, okay, of the earth and say, surely lies, Shakir, have inherited, so, Nacha, Nachalu, yep, Our father, Avotenu, yep. Worthless. Oh, Havo. Wow. Okay, yep. And
That's
in
hey, no, I was thinking, yeah, that's
yeah,
uh, look, I read an article once in was a local life,
yeah,
96 different uh, texts of the what's so-called New Testament. 96 different, and I heard there were many more, but uh, we don't, as long as Gentiles believe in God, the Creator, and they believe in that. That's according to some opinions. That's enough for somebody who didn't hear and somebody who didn't stand. The Jews all stood on Mount Sinai, the ones who were living then, and the souls of all those who were to become Jewish. Uh, read and heard God say, I am God, your God. You shall have no other gods before me. And so the idea of the Son of God is, uh, in a different sense, the Jews are called the sons of God, not only the
yes.
sons,
The Jews are called
their
sons of God.
son is
Yeah,
Israel.
yeah,
But that's it's not meant to be that they're my physical sons.
right,
God says that Ani Rishon, I am the first, and the commentary is that by that is meant I have no father. You know,
right,
I didn't, and I am the last. I have no son. Now this whole, how there's Jews believe that when the Mashiach comes, the Messiah, that, then there will be eternal. We can't relate to that now,
right.
and but it says that it says that Chasidei Umos Olam, the righteous, the Hasidim of the nations of the world, Yesh Lem Chelek Olam Haba. They have a portion in that coming world. Not just the Jews, but the righteous of the nations of the world.
Yes, yes,
They
yeah.
have a portion in the world to come.
Yes, well, it looks like in Zechariah, the end of Zechariah, if people don't come up for the festival of Sukkot, they'll receive a curse on their lands. So, yeah, uh, they'll have to come to Jerusalem.
Well, we have good things to look forward to, and the way things are happening in the Holy Land, miraculous happenings.
It's happening fast, Rabbi Feller. I mean,
Uh,
to have Syria fall in 11 days, and right now it looks like the United States and Israel are sending their planes to some kind of a British island south of Iran, and it's within bombing distance so that they can fly up 3,000 miles and 3,000 miles back. I'm blanking on the name of the island. It sounds rather Hispanic. But anyway, the United States and Israel are planning on bombing Iran very shortly because they'll have nuclear weapons in a week or two. So it looks like Trump has given the go ahead. And I think they'll wait until after Ramadan is over, just because you don't want to stir more passions right now.
well, uh, we are Jews. Are are uh, they the faith in the God Almighty sees us through. We're still here. We are the most persecuted nations. You know, what should I tell you? We are the chosen people. Uh, Cynics say, they wish that God would have chosen somebody else because another, because we are the most persecuted nation in history. Nonetheless, we're here. We are vital, and we make a lot of noise, and and we're living by our tradition. Um,
By Torah. It
through
looks like Israel is coming back to Torah.
Yeah, yeah, that is the case. There's many secular Jews have become during this period. They've become observant, and Lubavitch has been busy trying their best to make people observant, and Lubavitch is listened to because it does it in a happy and non-judgmental way.
Is Lubavitch busy in Israel itself?
Yes,
Oh, I
very,
didn't know that.
very busy. They go to the army and those they fight in the army also. There are many Lubavitchers, and there were Lubavitchers who were killed in this tragic war.
Okay.
But Lubavitch is very active in Israel, and
Because
they
I
go.
know that the Rebbe never went to Israel.
No, because he could be, and he said people asked him why. He said because he couldn't come back. He couldn't leave Israel.
Oh,
So
okay. That makes more
therefore,
sense.
he didn't go. And why they chose? They can get the Jews better from America. That's
Okay.
why than from Israel.
Okay.
That
Good
was
point.
his calling, and the calling of his father-in-law who preceded him. His
Okay.
father-in-law who preceded him was the only Rebbe who ever visited Israel.
Oh, wow. I
He
did
did
not know that.
that in 1929.
In 29.
Yeah, he spent
Wow.
2 weeks in Israel, and he visited all the holy places and the leading rabbis of Israel. He visited with him. And it has its whole history. Okay, well, we'll
Okay.
go
All right.
to
Thank you. Thank
this
you.
Cedric.
That was wonderful.
This Ele Pekudei Hamishkan, and in the text it reads that Mishkan Ha'edus. These are um these are the uh, reckonings of the tabernacle. This is this parsha is centered around every article that was in the Mishkan, including the Mishkan itself and its wooden panels and its silver sockets. And what did it cost? How many was there, and what did it cost? And that teaches us a lot, as we'll see. That we have to everything that will we have to give a cheshbon to the world, to our communities, what is being spent and what they are contributing to, and how much was contributed. So here's how it says here. Pasach Rabbi Tanchuma. Rabbi Tanchuma opened his expounding on this pasuk. Pasuk is scriptural. Ela Pekudei Mishkan Ha'edus, the tabernacle of testimony. And that's the same tabernacle that they built called the Mishkan. And that was the previous that led many years, 1,000 years, to the building of the temple. But first, and the Mishkan accompanied them wherever they went in the desert, and when they're settling in Israel, they didn't make a Beis Hamikdash right away, and that started in David's time. He made the plans, but he couldn't build the Mishkan. God told him because he couldn't build a Beis Hamikdash because the Beis Hamikdash is supposed to be a place of peace. And David had a lot of blood on his hands, so he couldn't build the Beis Hamikdash, and it had to be his son Shlomo. And Shlomo it contains in it Shalom, peace. He wasn't a warrior, even though that David's wars were always, they were to strengthen the people of Israel, and they were commanded and not only approved but initiated by the God Almighty. Nonetheless, the fact of the matter is that he spilled a lot of blood, and therefore it was told that your son is going to build my whole temple. That was the temples and that was destroyed. The first temple lasted 410 years, and the second temple lasted 420 years, and to get 830 years. And but the third temple, which will be built by Melech HaMashiach, the King Mashiach, that will never be destroyed. The first and second ones were destroyed, but the third one, and that will be, as the prophet says, that God says that my house will be a house of prayer for all the nations. Based my house will be a house of prayer for all the nations. All the nations would come up and bring offerings in the temple. The custodians of the temple would be the Jews, but its doors were open for anybody who was going to do penance and bring offerings, and they weren't allowed to slaughter the offerings. That is to be done by the Kohanim, and the offering up had to be done by the Kohanim. But they could bring the animals and say the passages and pray there in the holiest spot of the world. I mean, all the nations call Israel the Holy Land, and
I'm
many
sorry.
go.
I'm
Huh?
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to
Okay,
interrupt you.
we just started from the beginning. Okay, and now Rabbi Tanchuma Bar Abba is giving his interpretations,
Where? I'm asking where.
and he brings a
I'm
pasuk
asking where.
right the very first block, that Parsha Nun Aleph, the beginning of Midrash Rabbah on Pekudei. Okay, the very first, and we just started. Uh, okay, and it reads as follows: Eila Pekudei HaMishkan, quote, that's what is quoted, and the pasuk concludes, Mishkan Ha'edus, the sanctuary of testimony. So, the first explanation is they bring a pasuk that is good for us to know. I always try to remember and even learn by heart these psukim because I would never learn them without the Midrash class, and so at least we learned a little bit of the prophets of the scriptures. And this is from Mishle, the holy writings, Proverbs, and it's a pasuk in Chof Ches, almost at the end of Proverbs, and the pasuk reads like this: Ish emunos Rav Brachos, a man of integrity. He was believed, a man who was trusted, a man of integrity. He doesn't do any suspicious deals. He's straight, honest, and it's you could call him an honest man, but they translated a man of integrity, which of course is extreme honesty. So it says such a man, ish emunos rav brachas. He has a lot of blessings. But that pasuk ends with the words "V'oz lahashir," one who is lahashir is somebody who's not believed. It's called the one impatient to be rich, the one is only looking for his own betterment, and he can't be trusted because he's a utz lahasher. He's wanting to get rich. It says that he utz lahasher lo yinakeh. He won't be exonerated. He'll be he'll get his consequence, his punishment for being not scrupulous and honest, not an ish nemanos. He's the opposite.
Right.
Ish emunos. So then, who is the man who is integrity? A man of integrity, a man of faith, trustworthy. Emunah is you can have trust and faith in his dealings. Moshe, the scripture, Shlomo HaMelech, the wise man who wrote Proverbs, this is referring to Moshe, who can be called a man of integrity, great integrity. Shehu ne'mano shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's the one that's believed to God. Such a man, maybe brachas al yadav. He brings into the world blessings. Misha Eno Naman, one who is not believed. And that's the Utz Lahashir. He's hurrying to get wealthy, and he tramples law and order, and don't steal, and etc. He's called Utz Lahashir. He's working hard and hurrying. Utz means hurrying. Lahashir, lo yinakeh. He won't be exonerated.
Well,
he won't be considered clean. So and the Midrash says, Ish emuno ze Moshe. The Ish emunos, the man of integrity, who is King Solomon, Shlomo Melech, the author of Proverbs. Who is he referring to? Ze Moshe. Shehu ne'mano shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He is the one who is trustworthy, who is believed by God, who's his Neman, his believed one, his trustworthy servant. And because, and God himself says this, look what God says in Bamidbar. We've all heard this. There's a pasuk in scripture. I mean, and in the 5 books of Moshe. Breshit Bara, Breshit Shmais, Vayikra, Bamidbar Dvarim, the 5 books of Moshe. And this is where the 613 mitzvahs are to be found in these 5 books. And then all the rest is like commentary on the there's a lot of history, of course, in the Nevi'im but there's interpretation of what's in scripture, what is meant in scripture, and that's what's happening in all our midrashim that we learn. And here's an example of it. This pasuk, and there are people who know this by heart. I wish I were amongst them, but I try to learn as many as I can by heart. And so he proceeds. Ish emunos, who is a trustworthy man, who brings brachas, shehu ne'mano shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He is trustworthy, and his integrity is assured by the Creator. Shlema, when God was telling Aaron and Miriam in the Midbar, after Miriam and Aaron were doubtful about an act of Moshe vis-a-vis his wife. He didn't divorce her, but he separated himself from her. And Miriam heard this from Moshe's wife, and she told Aaron, and Moshe wasn't offended. She asked him the question, why did you separate yourself from your wife, that you could not be intimate with her anymore? We never got such a command. We are also prophets. Miriam was a prophetess, the greatest prophetess, and Aaron was a prophet, and we never were told not to be intimate with our wives. Intimacy with husband and wife is a big mitzvah. So why would you become separate from your wife? I'm sure. And she heard this when from Moshe's wife, who was puzzled also why Moshe separated, because intimacy is not, heaven forbid, it's not an Avera if it's done right. With mikveh, and not having intimacy when she's a menstruant, and but they can be living together. And Moshe, all of a sudden, after Matan Torah, she was left. Sterilized. And it was after they had their two children together, Gershon and Eliezer, and but they were over 80. But nonetheless, Miriam was, even though Aaron was older, Miriam was older. But hey, they could be intimate with just the 3 days before Matan Torah. That was they were told to be separated, the men from the women, and to be. And they went to the mikveh all before they stood and heard the real revelation of God, the greatest revelation of the God Almighty. They heard the voice of God, and so they had to be pure. I don't like, they were not impure. They were just that if they had relations, they're not eligible for certain things until they go to mikveh and eligible to go into the sanctuary. But God scolded, God appeared. Moshe was when he heard about his sister, wondered why he left intimacy with his wife. And Moshe he didn't bother him that they spoke about him, but it bothered God. How dare you have doubts about the propriety of Moshe, And here's what God said. That God said about him, he's different than all the Nevi'im, all you, when I appear to you, you all flip out, you fall. It's like you're having a spell, and I speak to your head. You hear what I'm saying. I can't exactly explain the mechanics because I've never been a prophet. Working on it, but locate, not like with all the other prophets, locate nation. Before they see, here comes the word, Memon. He is believed he can be in every area, in my whole, so, my whole house, my entire household, he is believed. Nobody else has ever seen what he saw, because he's greater than everybody. And if he's separated from his wife, that means I told him to. He doesn't do anything with alone. And how did you suspect that he would do such a thing? That a separation from a spouse, and I don't know. We just want to prove the fact that who is that man of integrity, of honesty, of trustworthiness? That's Moshe. God himself says, He is trustworthy in my whole house.
It's not a
And he
battle
goes
mode.
on. That's the whole. That's a very revealing chapter in the Bamidbar.
No.
And God
No.
scolds Miriam and Aaron. And Miriam actually was
When did Donald
punished, or the consequence was left what they
Trump
called
jump off the wall?
Saras for a week, and the whole camp couldn't travel until she was purified from what God smote her with because she spoke against her brother Moshe. So God himself testifies to Moshe being an Ish Emunah. So this is what Shlomo Melech is saying in Mishlei, Ish Emunos Rav Brachos, a man who is trustworthy. And who does this go out of? Moshe. God himself said it in the Chol Beishi Nemanu, that he's trusted. Sheb'chol hadvorim shehoya gizbar aleim, everything that Moshe was a treasurer, was on top of all the wealth that was brought in, and the gold, the silver that was brought into use in the Mishkan, he kept account of it, account of all of it, and he was believed not to take anything for himself. כל הדברים שהיה גיבור עליהם, everything that he was a gizbor, a treasurer, he was the one knowing how much was brought Shehu Neman. But the end of that pasuk, who is that speaking about? Lahashir lo shin yinake. The guy who's hurrying to get rich, he will not be exonerated. Who is that talking about? That Korach. This is Korach. Shehoya Levi. Korach was a Levi. Was a cousin of Moshe. Ubikesh lito kuhuna gedolah. We know the whole thing that Korach, there's a whole chapter, Sedra, called Korach. He wanted, he was a Levi, and he didn't feel that was enough for him. He wanted to be not just a plain Kohen. That wouldn't have been held against him. But Utslash means he wanted more than the natural. The portion say, look, it's natural for people who are in employment to want to go a level higher in their job. And that's okay, that's normal. But not Korach. He didn't want to just be a Kohen. He wanted to be the Kohen Gadol, which was only one. And his problem was Aaron, not Moshe. The leader of the Jews, that he didn't want to be. But he wanted to have Aaron's job. Aaron, the Kohen Gadol, got a lot of gifts that the other Kohanim didn't get. That's the Portion point out. And he was a Hasher. He wanted to get wealthy. The level of the Kohen Gadol, he thought he was worthy of that, but he wasn't. And what happened? How did he land out? Jehoiah Levi וביקש ליטול כהונה גדולה. He didn't just want to be a Kohen. There were many, that's one level higher than a Levi. Uma hoya shleifoi, and what was his end? Batitach ha'aretz es pia. The land opened its mouth, and he was devoured by the earth into hell. It opened up, and he was swallowed up by the earth, and the people who followed him were swallowed up by the earth. He brought a calamity amongst the Jews because of the machleket that he made with Moshe, saying that he was an nepotist. The point is, he took the kingship, the leadership of the Jews to himself, and he gave to the next ranking position, the Kohen Gadol, gave to his brother. And I got nothing from this story. He was a Levi. A Levi is a high rank in Judaism, but he wasn't satisfied with that. So that's what. So again, there we see who is believed, who is trustworthy. That's Moshe, and who was one who was hurrying to get into to become wealthy. Because the Kohen Gadol was wealthier than all the Kohanim, and he wanted to be the wealthiest. And he thought that he had he was a very holy man, Korah. But holy men make big mistakes also, except Moshe, who never made any mistake. And the rebellion was against Moshe because Moshe, was appointed by God, but he did the rest of the appointing, and he left him out, and he wanted to be the Kohen Gadol. And what happened? The earth swallowed him up. And in this situation, about 14,000 Jews were swallowed up or otherwise neutralized. So that's because one guy was a Utz Lahasher, running to get wealthy. Davrachar, another interpretation we look this. Ish Emunah, the man of integrity, that Moshe, that is Moshe. Shenasa Gidbar al Meleches HaMishkan. He became the chairman on the work to make the tabernacle, the sanctuary. And he goes, and what does that make him? East and Rabbi saying, Ein memanim srara al hatzibur b'mamon pasuk mishnai. Hey, you don't, in the Gemara, it says, that when it comes to appointing the people who are involved with public funds, the trustees are going to have to be at least two. Can't have just one. Later on, we'll see that in taking the money out of the big pushkas that were open, and they took out money from there to pay for the cows, and sheep. I mean, and all the things that had to be done. It was a capitalist society, and you have to pay for it. Some people are wealthier than others, but you have to have two people. It says when you go in, they have to have cloaks that don't have hems or pockets, because people could suspect them that some of their money runs into the pockets. And they hide the money until they can't have such garments that have pockets. And so then the Gemara says you have to have two. You can't just have one. Ve'ein mamanim shrara al hatziver b'mamon. In financial matters, you don't appoint just one as just the chairman alone. You have to have a vice chairman and to be with him. You can't have there can't be a Parshas Mishnayim less than two. That can be one. Parei Ata Moshe, but you find Shahaya Moshe Gizbar La'atzmo. Moshe was the one chairman, treasurer, La'atzmo by himself. And here the Gemara says, Ein Mamanim Pekudei. You have to have two chairmen. You have to have two chairmen on public funds. Ella Afal Pi Shahaya Moshe Gizbor La'atzmo. And hey, Dayan, even though when Bani Israel appointed Moshe, nonetheless, even though there was one, Moshe was head of the funds coming in, chairman of the funds coming in for the tents, and there was gold and silver donated, and Moshe kept accounting of that. So the Midrash is telling you, even though he is one chairman, nonetheless, who he called others, and he did the accounting with the others. Didn't do it alone. Shinamar, Eile Pekudei HaMishkan. This is the accounting of the Mishkan. Asher Pokad Moshe. That's not what it says. It says Asher Kosukan Elo Asher Pukad Al Pi Moshe. It was done by Moshe's supervision. But who did it with Moshe? Are they Moshe? Biyad Isamar one of the sons of Aaron, was with Moshe in accounting for the contributions. Again, the contributions of silver and silk and all the material stuff. And where do the Jews all get so well? They borrowed from their Egyptians who had plenty of wealth, and the Jews all became wealthy. And they had each Jew had like it says 10 wagon loads of goods. Some got more than others.
I'm moving forward.
But
I'm
they
moving
were all
forward.
wealthy. And this was later on. It's told that hey, they were paid nothing
Here you go.
for their 210 years of slavery.
Set on the lights.
And what they got was even with all the wealth they got wasn't 210 years payment. They did. Excuse me. Hello. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much for the blessing. And God bless you as well. And John, give my best. Take care. Bye. That was good wishes. Today is my English birthday, March 27th. I was born March 27, 1937.
Yom Haledet Sameach.
Thank you. That's but my real, what I consider, of course, my birthday is a very holy night, and everybody drinks 4 cups of wine or grape juice on my birthday. My birthday is the first night of Pesach, just about midnight, when my father, may rest in peace, and my mother, my father took my mother to, at that time was called Abbott, Northwestern, it was a different location, from our home in Minneapolis. And my father took my mother, and just at the night when the action happened in Mitzrayim, about midnight, that's when I had my private exodus. And so we eat matzah on my birthday. I can't have if I could have a Pesach cake, but we celebrate it in our Seder. We always have the stuff of the Seder. So that's my real birthday. The Jewish birthday is Tes B'Av Nisan, which will be in about 2 weeks. So then everybody can wish me happy birthday. And I will accept all good wishes and blessings, because blessings count. And everybody should give blessings, but not the opposite of blessings, because there is some power, registered, but anything that comes out of somebody's mouth, and therefore you got to be very careful what you say. And so say blessings and not the opposite. So, so here what we learned was that even though Moshe was the one that was the chairman, but he did it together with Aaron's sons, Isamar. He did not do it alone. And that is that they bring the pasuk later on that a person, the onus is on the person not to bring himself to suspicion. V'yisen nekim Hashem umi Yisrael. You got to be innocent. It's not enough that you're innocent in God's eyes. You know, people do things that are apparently maybe transgressing the law. Say, you know, hey, I know that God knows everything that I'm doing, and He knows that this I'm not transgressing. That's not enough. People who aren't omniscient have also, you can't appear. You gotta, you know, I gotta be very careful where I go into. I had my accident, and the people. It was right in front of a Trafer restaurant, and the people who came down, they thought they'd find me horizontal, but thank God they found me vertical. And they wanted me to go into the Trafer restaurant. I told them, I can't. I don't make it I have to make it very clear that the Rabbi Feller didn't eat in the Trafer restaurant. So God knows that I didn't eat in the Trafer restaurant. People see me, you know. Hey, and that's with every situation that a person has to. The onus is on them to not allow themselves to be suspected of any wrongdoing, you know, by others. So they got to be very, and there's all kinds of examples you can give of that. Go to another. So now I'm going to Dalit, where it says Mishkan HaEdus. What does it mean by these are the reckonings of the Mishkan HaEdus? The Mishkan of the testimony. What does it testify to? So Rabbi Shimon bar Rabbi Yishmael explained this. That is angels, testimony, the Mishkan of testimony. What testimony is it to? is it is testimony who l'chol boye olam, that everybody in the world, these existence of and the building of this tabernacle is testimony. Ages who l'chol ha'olam. Sheyesh licha liYisrael. The tabernacle. God told the Jews to build the tabernacle after the sin of the eagle. And I told you, the best of my understanding is that the Jews allowed such a thing to happen. Actually, servicing the eagle was only some 3,000 of the Arab who had converted to Judaism. But the Jews allowed it to happen. And the tabernacle that God told them to build a special place where his presence is open. And you can come to that place, and it was a virtual replica of Sinai. Everything that went on in that temple, and there was a special place where God's Shekhinah, God's presence, could be accessed. And it was that God gave this mitzvah to the Jews to make tabernacle. Is angels, is testimony to the whole world that Yesh Slicha Israel. There is forgiveness to the Jews, that God forgave. Another, you could say, what else is there witness to? Ages who l'chol ha'olam, to the whole world. It is shown, it is a testimony. The whole world can see that there's forgiveness for the another thing, what they can see, Shenishmana Mipi HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that Moshe Rabbeinu was appointed to be the chairman of the Israel. Ejusu l'chol ha'olam shenishmana mipi HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That Moshe Rabbeinu was appointed by God to be the head, to be the king of the Jews. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Moshe Lema Davar Dolma. What is this analogous to? L'melech shenotal isha. This is analogous to a king who selected a woman, L'chibava, he loved her, Yoshimidai, even more than normal. Kosovel, he got angry at her after a little while. Rinicha, I left her. V'hayu omrim law. People told her, her neighbors told her, Eino chozer alayich old. You're finished with this king. He left you, and got got angry at you and he left you. He ain't never going to come back to you. This child, but you need testimony. Nevertheless, God left the Jews. He punished them and would have destroyed all of them if it were not for Moshe Rabbeinu stepping in and pleading and telling God that if you punish all the Jews, then punish me also. God was willing to spare Moshe Rabbeinu and rebuild the Jewish people from him. And that's how he would keep the promise to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, that he privileged circumcision would come from their stock, and Moshe was from their stock. No, I don't want any part of this. If you're going to destroy them, destroy me also. Well, that's a faithful shepherd. And so over here, what if we need that the king found a woman whom he liked, and of course he thought she was clean, and he wanted to bring her up on the throne. But then he got angry at her and left her. And her neighbors told her, he ain't gonna come back. You're never gonna see him again. Ain't no kosher alive. Oh, he's not coming back to you. You believe him. Liyamin, after a little while, Sholach lo hamelech v'omar, the king sent her a message and he's stating, Kabi es Pautin Sheli, come clean the palace which you left and make the beds, והציע את המיתוס שביום פלוני יבוא אצלך. I'm going to come back to you. And all her neighbors told her once he left her, he's not going to come back, but you see that he did come back. That there can be forgiveness. So he sent us such a message to somebody that on this day make the palace ready because he's gonna come to be with you again and never mind his anger with you and you're telling you to leave the palace. Go back to the palace, set it up. Because the king forgave her, became friendly with her again. And are you Chenoseha Ma'aminos? Her friends didn't believe that she's getting together with the king again. They told her he'll never come back to you. Now he's coming back to you. They didn't believe it. When did they believe it? And they smelled all these very pleasant aromas that was now issuing from the palace. It was all everything was hunky-dory there. They believed. Yadu that the king became attached to her again. They didn't believe it. But when the palace was started functioning again, just like it did when they were both together, and they smelled one of the things there, heavenly aroma coming out of the palace, they believed. The king made up with her. Similarly, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Chibe B'Esh Yisrael. God was in love with Israel. Took them out of Mitzrayim. V'hevi'em Lifnei Har Sinai. He brought the Jews to Har Sinai, the mountain, Har Sinai, the holy mountain, V'natan lahem et haTorah. God gave the Torah to the Jews, V'karan Malachim, and he called the kings, and the Jews kings, royalty. Shenemar, Atem tihu li mamlakas kohanim. You will be for me a kingdom of priests, Kohanim, a kingdom of Kohanim. What happened though? There's been this very big love between God and the Jews. But after 40 days, they sinned. And if anybody can find me, the whole nation, when such a minuscule amount of people sin, and the whole nation is being punished for it, and we're to be destroyed if not for Moshe. And God really didn't want to destroy them. He told Moshe, leave me alone and I will destroy you in a moment. But Moshe figured, leave him alone. I'm not doing anything. It means that if I don't leave him alone, God can do his best, and they can take it back. And that's what happened. And God came back to his love for Klal Yisrael. So the nations of the world, after they heard of this fact between God and the Jews that happened after 40 days, he gave them the Torah. So the nations of the world, Amru Hagoyim, the nations of the world said, Eino Misrat Shelo. We will never go back to them. Shneimar Amru Goyim Lo Yosifu Logur. Pasuk in Eichel. The Goyim said he will not come to live with the Jews again. Kiven shehalach Moshe levakesh rachamim aleihem. Since Moshe went to ask mercy for the Jews, what happened? Miyad solach lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. God forgave them. Hashem, God said to Moshe, I have forgiven them according to your word. Amar Moshe, Miboina Elam. Reini Mefuyas. Shemachalti Israel. I'm appeased because you forgave the Jewish people. Hey, let them know because they knew that you became angry with the Jews. Now please, Hodia Re'ene Kol Ha'umos. Let all the nations know She'ain believe Aleim, that in your heart you have nothing against them. Is Hareini Masha. So then when God told him, okay, Chayecha, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God answered him when he said that he should show the peoples of the world that he's back together with the Klal Yisrael. Even after the sin of the golden calf, Chayecha, by your life, Hareini Masheshti Nosim B'Tocham, I will show it. I will cause my presence to be amongst them, my shina, my presence, to be B'Tocham in their midst. Ne'emar, V'asu li Migdash, make for me a holy place. Mishkan is the Migdash. Umakirim Machalti Lahem. Everybody will recognize that I forgave them. V'kach Nemar. Therefore it says, Mishkan Oedus. The Mishkan, the sanctuary is the Edis. Edis means a witness, with witnesses, the testimony, but witnesses. Edus, he is witness, Edus who? Israel. Shemocha Lohem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That God forgave them. So that's what the Mishkan is. Mishkan is proof to the whole world that God forgave them. And when the Beis Hamikdash was rebuilt, you know, the Jewish people are they are special. Everybody knows them. There's a famous statement from Mark Twain how the great, how the special is of the Jews. The Jews who, I'm just saying this now, that the Jews who are less than 1/3 of 1% of the world population are 29% of the Nobel Prize winners. And there's a specialness to the Jews, but they have the choice of being of living the Jewish life, and which is a kiddush Hashem, like living the special life. The nations of the world see that that Shabbos is something very. They see Jesus on Shabbos. So many instances, and deep down in every Jewish heart, there is the desire to open up to God. And there is a desire in every trustworthy person of integrity that really knows that there's a creator in any human being, Jew or non-Jew, but especially by the Jews because they got chosen and they have after being so trampled on through the history, And nonetheless, the Jews are here thriving. All our enemies are no longer factors in history, but the Jews are factors. And and because these are look what did we study tonight? How it was important to not allow you to be suspected of being anything less than trustworthy. You have to go out of your way to be not suspected from any fancy deals or what. You got to be straight right on. And that's in the legal system, in the Torah, which is our legal system, which gave us our legal system. And so we are the descendants and Moshe Rabbeinu, and every generation we have Moshe Rabbeinu who teaches us how we should react in the generation, which is precisely what Rabbi did. And any questions? Let's see what time it is. 30. Okay, any questions? Anybody want to say something?
Could I say something about Mark Twain? You brought him up. Okay, so back in 1867, Mark Twain visited the Holy Land, Israel, and he made the comment, let's see here, it was horrible, whatever he said. A Palestine Twain avowed sits in sackcloth and ashes. In Jerusalem, the stateliest name in history is in reality just a village so small you could circle it with rags, wretchedness, poverty, and dirt. There is this interesting Torah passage in Deuteronomy 22 that says 21 actually. So it's 29:21. And a later generation, your descendants, who will rise after you, along with the foreigner who comes from a distant land, will say, upon seeing the plagues of the land and the diseases with which the Lord struck it. And then you look at Israel today, and it's beautiful. So it's just interesting that he seems to be that foreigner that arrived in 1867.
But that's not the passage, his statement that I was.
Oh, I know you stated something different, right? But it is intriguing that he made those statements and he was so wrong today.
But he did make the statement that why is this so? There's nobody like the Jews.
Right.
Tried to destroy them. They're here thriving. All the nations, the glorious nations of history, are gone.
Yes.
The Syrians, the Romans, the Greeks. They have no great consequence in the world today. And Israel is a great of great importance. Look what's happening in Israel. And the whole world is affected by what's happening in Israel, and Israel is becoming more.
Yes. All eyes are on Israel.
Yeah. So we haven't seen people who started this. And you give my regards to Jonathan, Dr. Shiur. Dr. Sheriff, you there? And let me wish you all a good Shabbat.
One other interesting comment, Rabbi Feller.
Yeah.
Rabbi Shlomo Goren, an Ashkenaz
The chief
rabbi,
rabbi and the chief general.
chief general, yes, from 1967.
Chief rabbi of the army. Yeah.
Yeah, just interesting how many wonderful Jews have died at the age of 77. And it looks like he was born in the Balfour Agreement year of 1917 and then died in 1994, which is interesting. And Israel is turning 77 this year.
I know I met Rabbi Goren, he had the same the night that Senator Bartkus and I had an audience with the Rebbe.
You met him?
He had an audience with the Rebbe too.
Oh, my, amazing.
The Rebbe sure took everybody, and he had influence. The Rebbe's personality and his coming on to everybody nice.
Wow.
When the Rebbe passed away, the New York Times had a half-page story. I mean, by an author, and in the end, he went on a graphic, like they painted not a cartoon. I mean, they painted the Rebbe deceiving people, and the Rebbe died on 2/12/1994, and right after they had the same day or the next day, and they held they printed a column, an obituary, but it wasn't in the obituary. It was an editorial column, and the title was "He Could Melt a Blizzard." And there's stories about a very known author, Jewish author, who went into the Rebbe at 2:00 in the morning and stated, it was a blizzard. He came from Long Island, this Jewish author, and he was the Rebbe really, the Rebbe was acquainted with his writings, and he was very impressed by that. And he wasn't an observant Jew. And the Rebbe asked him, since he is known to as a big author, and a lot of Jews read him, why doesn't he write more about observance, about some Judaism in his writings? He took him through a ringer. But listen to this, he again, it was a blizzard that night, and he drove in from Long Island. Now he had to drive back. He came out, and yet there was dozens of yeshiva students who were up that night, and they wanted to hear from him what the Rebbe told him. They always do that. If famous people go in, they want to hear what the Rebbe said to them.
Sure.
And they came out, and he came out. His name escapes me right now, but he came out with his wife, and they said, "Tell us what the Rebbe said to you." And he said, "Please, guys, please, I gotta go home. There's a big storm outside. I have to get home. I just had a very deep session with the Rebbe." So one guy said, "Okay, if you can describe the Rebbe, In one word, what would you use? It was a smart question. One guy needs to, okay, we have no right to bother you, we go, we have to get home. But if you could give us one word, so how you would describe the Rebbe? And he snapped back, kindly,
Oh, that's nice.
you know? And that was in the New York Times.
Rabbi Feller,
Yeah,
I did not hear the word.
kindly, Kindly.
Kindly, yeah.
Even though
Thank
Rebbe took him through the ringer, you know, only the way the Rebbe could in a very kindly way. But that's what the word he came up with. What impression he was in by the Rebbe for 2 hours, getting in at 2 o'clock in the morning. He was waiting for a couple hours till he got in. And that was, the Rebbe would go the whole night. And you all know probably a story that I had a situation when I didn't expect to be called in. I was coming back from a trip, and the Rebbe called me in at 3 o'clock in the morning. But that's for another time. Anyway, that what the Rebbe was, what should I tell you? That's the greatest thing that happened to me in my life. The God Almighty saw to it that I should come under the influence of the Rebbe. So listen, next week we'll also we'll do it at 9 o'clock. I think the week after we'll have to do it on Wednesday because 9 o'clock. It's Thursdays and it's like it's not the night before. It's the night before the night before, but because the Erev Pesach is on Shabbos, so you have to do all the things that you would do on Erev Pesach, the day before Pesach, on Friday. Like, excuse me, burning the hummus. And we make the Bedikas hummus on Thursday night. And so that's what the night of preparation is. Excuse me. And so the week after we have to make it, what date is it? The week after the Pesach is on Saturday night is the first Seder, right?
Yes.
You have a calendar, Dr. Shiur?
Not at hand.
Okay, but anyhow, it's not next week, but the next week after that, we have to make it on Wednesday night.
Okay, so next week it'll be Thursday night at 9 o'clock.
Right.
And the week following it'll be Wednesday night at 9 o'clock.
Right.
Very good.
So let me wish you all a good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, and thank you for the share.
And thank you for listening. And I have a lot more that I want to go over, but it's pretty late. So God bless you all. And give my regards to Jonathan.
I will do that.
All the best. Good Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Kosher b'sameach.